So my presentation, I will present you some, give you some information about the Quebec system. I think it's important for you to have this in context to better understand what we do and our reference. And I'll speak about the traceability as an insurance policy and traceability as a market tool, and it's based, of course, on our experience. So, Quebec, Canada. Quebec is one of the 10 provinces in Canada. You can see the circle. So Quebec is there, and the circle below is Ohio. So we hopped up north. The population of 8.2 millions. Quebec has 28,000 farms. And mainly it's dairy farm. We have pork also and beef, but mainly it's dairy farm. We produce in Quebec almost 50%, 48% of all the milk in Canada. So it makes a huge difference in the way we manage traceability. As you know, on dairy farm, animals are managed individually almost every day. They are monitored. It's not like in the beef industry where you have large herd in a commingling site in the prairies or in the mountains like we have in Alberta and in Saskatchewan. So from that point of view, it's almost two countries in one. So Agri-Traçabilite Quebec is a non-profit organization that was created in 2001 and it was mandated by the Quebec Ministry of Agriculture to manage the traceability system in Quebec. One important thing is that it's a non-profit organization, and on the board of direction there are the ministry has 2 seats and the producer has 4 seats. Also, we have another seat owned by the insurance. It's an insurance organization that manages a program for the producer, and they use our data to for instance, do the payment to the producer. So the mission, the first one is the most important one today for you. It's we developed it. At the time we implemented, and we operate a permanent ID and traceability system for mainly the animal sector. So how the traceability system works in Quebec, so it is based on the 3 pillars. The premises ID, so you see on the left, your right, the code the producer received for his premises, for his farm. We have the animal identification with the 15-number digit. It's an ISO number. So, and it's a double identification with the RFID and the visual tag. And we follow the movement individually. So I'll show you on the next slide. And we take the identification, we have the birth of the animal as well. So the traceability system, how it works, so from the, we sell all the tags, so from at the start when the producer call at the office, we know exactly which number will go at his farm. So from that start, we manage the number from the sale to the slaughterhouse or the death of the animal. After that, the producer has to do a birth declaration, and the animal, you can see by the yellow arrow, if it moves from farm to farm, from fairs, if it goes to auction market, those premises will have to declare the move in, the move out, and sometimes the move in, depends of the species and the. And you can see that at each step, the information is sent to the central database, and sometimes it's a two-way direction. I mean that when an animal go at the auction market, it enters the rings, and on the spot, it shows the number of the animal and the age of the animal. So for the the market for the buyer, it's very important because of the 30 months old, years old. The next one is some statistics on our system. So there are the three species, bovine, sheep, and cervid, that are managed in our system. So there are, well, you see the number, 12,000 bovine, almost 2,000 sheep, and few cervid. We have almost 20,000 premises registered in the database, and we receive 3.5 to 4 million events reported annually in our system. You have water? The next slide is very, I think it's very interesting for you. We always have questions about that. It's how the information enter in the system. So it's all the declaration, so it's the 4 million I said before. So 15% is through a human action, through a customer service. So phone call, we still receive fax or we receive document. And the rest is electronically, it's electronic through the web portal of our solution, through exchange with partner, like I said, with the insurance company I said before, so we exchange information with them, and because they send us information on the animals as well. And we use a lot of the software, different software, like a producer works with herd management software, and those kind of software are adapted to take the data we need. So it's for the producer, it make it easier to collect the data and to send it to us. Sometimes I would say that then they even realize that they are doing the traceability. If we were just talking about the producer declaration, the customer service will rise to 40%. So today it's the producer who still want to use the traditional way of declaration. And one of the things is that, well, until now, the internet is, the speed of internet at some place in the province is still too slow, and but it's improving, and we think that with the new generation, they will be more interested to use different application, because we have a mobile application as well. Traceability as an insurance policy. So you can see all those the crisis that happened since 2001 to the one we have today right now in Canada. And in 2001, if you remember, it was the scrapie in England, and it's exactly at the time we put in place the system in Quebec. Because, to be honest, it's a very, very ambitious system. And at the time they decided to do the full traceability and to do it electronically, because we know that papers, there can be mistake and everything. But at that time in 2001, the producers were willing to go for that kind of system, because they had still in mind the crisis in England and the piles of animals, and I could say the piles of genetics dead there. So they really wanted to be protected from that. So, and right now in Quebec, we also have the Salmonelle de Dublin. I don't know if you know the name Salmonelle de Dublin? Yeah? Okay. So, so we know that disease are always there. So, and producers are aware of that. Traceability as an insurance policy, well, it does not prevent animal death or food safety crisis, but it allows rapid detection of the source. It ensures fast and effective intervention, and it mitigates the economic loss and preserves the value of livestock. It secures also the national and international market and increase consumer trust. And I would say that the consumer trust is maybe one of the most important things here. Okay, and we'll see it later, how the producer brand the traceability in a consumer point of view. So in the system, if there's a disease, an outbreak, we want to contain the disease. So in our system, we have a traceback functionality. So in a few minutes, 2 hours sometime, the system has the capacity to identify sites as well as animals that has risk of being infected or contaminated. So, and it allows rapid containment of the crisis, as I said before. So, and for example, in 2003, when there were the BSC in Alberta, all the market, the Chinese, Japanese closed the market from Canada, and it's in Quebec. Quebec were the first that was allowed to sell back to Japan because of the system. So, and producer remember that too. This is the function, the traceback. So in the few minutes we can have in blue the animal that may have been infected before we saw the disease. And in red it's the animal that may have been infected after the date we find the disease. And of course I'm talking about minutes, but a system is as good as its data. So that's the basic. And I also said that you have to be able to manage the inconsistency in a system, because when you do movement, that's the most difficult part in traceability. You will realize that you can have an animal at 2 places at the same time. You realize that an animal can be deaf before being born. So you have to be able to manage those kind of information to make sure that you won't miss any information in case of a disease. Traceability as a market tool. So we'll see I will present you two short examples. One is in the pork. I'm a bit fast. Okay. Traceability as a market tool. Well, it adds value to your product, to the product, and by meeting the requirement of the internal and external market. And but every country has its own requirement. Yesterday morning, Ambassador Vetter really stressed that there are no standards right now. Written by the World Trade Organization, so every country goes with its own requirement. And for Europe, what we understand is that the history of animal is essential, the lifetime of the animal. And for China, the country of birth. And even I hear that the origin of the farm of origin is important. So it's difficult to know exactly what are the standards. As you know, Canada signed an agreement with Europe, and well, it was negotiated a few years ago, and it was signed a month ago. But we still don't know exactly what's in it for the traceability, and we know that there is something, and producers are really anxious to see, because the dairy farmer agreed to, well, they had to open the market for the cheese, and on the counterpart, Europe opened the market for 80,000 tons of beef. But if they ask for a traceability lifetime traceability, well, we know that the beef producer won't be able to reach that market. They are not yet there. The OIE and the Codex right now are setting the standard, and I could say that it's more a health point of view standard. It's not a commercial standard. So how the industry, the producer, are, I would say, marketing traceability, because for them, traceability as an insurance is, well, it's fine. They know it's important, but it's, you don't work for that at every day. You know, it's, we don't like to pay for insurance and to work, so for, in case of. So the pork, the Canadian pork, they developed the Canadian Pork Excellence. The traceability was the first step to the national quality of the farm program of Canadian Pork Excellence, along with biosecurity and animal care. The animals are traced individually and by lot, by group, and it's managed through a central database. And from their point of view, and I think they're right, the traceability gives a competitive advantage in the marketplace to Canada Pork and secure business continuity. So it's for the market in Canada, but it's also for the exporting market, and mainly for that. So, and traceability in that program is one component, but it's also the way they can attach the biosecurity and the animal care to the premises and to the ID identification. The next one is from the dairy sector, and it's more ambitious. It's called ProAction. So, and it's managed by Dairy Farmer of Canada. It's very, very new. They are still in the process to implement this program. So if I won't show you the video, but if you want to see it, you can go there and see, and I think it's on YouTube. So this program gather all those components. So the milk quality, the food safety, the traceability, the animal care, the biosecurity, and the environment. So they gather all those aspects of the production, and we know that those things are important for the consumer. Yesterday morning, I don't remember his name, from China, he told he gave us some information about China, it talked about the ACE, so the animal, the consumer, and the environment. So we can see that the producer in Canada really are, they are proaction that's it, to be in front of the market. So, and they ask why traceability for our industry. So the full traceability is about being helping consumer answer the question, where does my food come from? But it also answers the question, is it safe? Is it environmental friendly? Is it sustainable? It's all the questions consumers are asking about the product. So for them, ProAction is to protect their market and to have the consumer with them. And if I make an extension, during the trade negotiation, and Dr. Vetter, Ambassador Vetter talked to it about yesterday and said to the producer, get involved. Well, the producer are getting involved, and they are working to have the consumer with them to help them in front and with the government. The guiding principles of so I won't read all of them, but okay, well, the first one I thought what was the most important. It was the ProAction is designed by farmers for farmers. So there is no government implication. They decided to go and to design that program. It's transparent, it's sustainable, cost-effective, etc. But at the 12th end, it partnered with government, with the provincial and federal government, And the requirements are almost the same as in Quebec. So the premises identification, animal identification, tag activation, animal moving, and tag requirement. And we can see that in Quebec they already have that, but in the rest of Canada they agree to move with those requirements. And well, this is the movement. So and that's the kind of promotion, the marketing tools they made. So that's the movement of the animal from the house of origin to the truck, wherever it goes. We can see that, traceability can serve both animal health and commercial exchange. Right now, movement is not done everywhere. It's only in some part of the planet, I would say. And but to have a good animal health system to trace an outbreak, the movement is very important. From a commercial point of view, is not that important, and we can see that right now it's more the animal identification and premises that are asked by importer, and but we can feel that it is moving. The movement will be asked one day or the other. And knowing that when you build a system, keep in mind that the movement will come, because you have it's the challenging part of the traceability. Identification is, and I'm talking about from a database point of view, identification is quite easy. Premises, it's easy. Movement, it's difficult.